We're on YouTube. We are live on Rumble. Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. I'm Xander. We will be joined by the Golden Loon here pretty quickly. And of course, you viewer are you. Thank you very much for coming in and watching us. I'm sorry, I'm tabbing, trying to figure out where the heck all my stuff is. Yeah, here he is. Here he's coming. You know, the Golden Loon.
Thank you.
Yeah. This show is about interesting and important happenings that... What?
This chair's died. There we
Yeah,
go.
the chair is dead. That happened today throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with what do we got here on April 5th, and where's my tab? I am lost today. Starting us off in the year 456, St. Patrick returned to Ireland as a missionary bishop. You know, we all know about
Yeah.
St. Patrick. It was St. Patrick's Day not that long ago.
Yeah.
So did
Mark-
not have
something.
yeah, did not have any green beer though. But moving on up to 1536, Charles V made a royal entry into Rome, demolishing a swath of the city to reenact a Roman triumph. That sounds a little contradictory, or like why would you destroy the city only to have to rebuild it? That seems like a lot of waste right there. Hold on a second, let's move this camera. There we go. Now you're there.
That's not good.
1621, the Mayflower sailed from Plymouth, Massachusetts on a return trip to England. I did not know they went back. I guess to pick up more or something. Like, I would have thought that they dismantled the ship to have building to build. You know, that's what a lot of them did. They dismantled the ship for building materials.
And maybe only one ship came back because 3 went over.
No, you're thinking of Columbus.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, this is the Mayflower with the Pilgrims.
Yeah.
Very far. No, not that far. This is 1621, so that's like 150 years or so after Columbus.
Yeah, well, something.
1492.
Yeah.
Oh. 1722, Dutch navigator Jacob Roggeveen was the first European to discover Easter Island / Rapa Nui in the southeastern Pacific.
That's the ones with those statues, right?
Yes, yeah, the Moai,
Yeah.
the Easter Island heads.
Yeah.
Which actually, like, I have a picture of it somewhere in here. There it is. It's kind of small.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do we got here? 1764, British Parliament passed the sugar tax on the American colonies, introduced by Prime Minister George Grenville. Yeah, those Europeans, those British, always with their taxes. You know what?
Well, some things never change.
Yeah.
Always need money.
Yeah. At least we don't have window taxes anymore. And by opium, what are you talking about?
Other people's money.
Yep, OPM. So, 1768, first U.S. Chamber of Commerce was formed in New York City. That's not the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The states didn't exist until 1790 at the absolute earliest. So, I guess first American Chamber of Commerce, or what would become the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Because they were still colonies at this point.
Yeah, they didn't even declare independence for another 7 years.
Well,
So-
they still may have. It would be more like a first American, I would.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a United States. I don't know when United States was coined, but it'd have to be after it was formed.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like 1790, somewhere around there. Because like the revolution ended in like 1782, and it was about 10 years, give or take, of deliberation before
they worked on the Constitution.
Yeah, before they figured, well, like, we had this, we had that, we've tried. Because a lot of people think that, George Washington was the first president of America. No. He's the first president of the United States of America, but there are other, like heads before that with different ideas before we stuck with the United States. So, 1792, speaking of George Washington, he exercised the first presidential veto to strike down a congressional bill to increase the number of seats from northern states in the U.S. House of Representatives. So right off the bat, they're already starting to have problems north versus south.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of it. Everybody has problems, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. 1804, Isaac Quintard patented apple cider. All right.
Oh.
Yeah. 1814, Netherlands Bank issued its first banknotes. Okay. So just IOUs. 1847, Birkenhead Park, the first civic public park, opened in Birkenhead, England, designed by Joseph Paxton. And we actually have a picture of it. Like, this is a more modern picture, but while looking for pictures, there's like old like before even photographs. There are drawings of this building.
Now, is it still standing in that full structure, or is it?
I'm not sure. It might be. It might not. I mean, I don't know. 1887, Anne Sullivan taught water to blind and deaf 6-year-old Helen Keller by opening one of her hands under a dripping water pump and spelling out W-A-T-E-R in Keller's palm. She goes on to learn how to read, write, and speak, and graduate from college.
That's incredible.
That's an inspirational right there.
I don't know how they transformed that woman, but she was a very special woman, obviously.
Yeah. Helen Keller, like a modern-day miracle.
Yeah.
Like, if you can count 1887 as modern day, but still.
It was in 1987.
In 1887.
1887.
Yeah. 1893, Cleveland passed the Park Act, the forerunner of Metro Parks. Okay, I've heard about Metro Parks and whatnot, but is that a nationwide law thing? Oh, let's look this up here really quick.
I don't know.
Because we've spoken about Metro Parks before. Metro Parks Toledo. Okay, so Cleveland. So I guess it's just localized to Cleveland. So, 1895, Oscar Wilde lost libel case against Marquis of Queensberry, who accused him of homosexual practices. Once again, all these LGBTQT plus, alphabet mafia people going around crying about being oppressed. You don't know what real actual oppression is. You're just using that as a buzzword to get your way. You want to know real oppression? The instant you open your mouth, you get a fire hose in your face. That's oppression. 1900, archaeologists in Knossos, Crete, discovered a large cache of clay tablets with hieroglyphic writing in a script they called Linear B. It's pretty big right there. 1904, the first international rugby league match was played between England and other nationalities team, Welsh and Scottish players, in Central Park, Wigan, England. All right, so the first international rugby.
Yeah.
Pardon me, 1919, Antwerp was officially declared the host city for the games of the 17th Olympiad to be conducted in 1920, first post-World War I Olympics. It's pretty big right there. 1919 as well, Polish army executes 35 young Jews.
Ooh.
Why? What keeps happening?
Well, they're indicating because they're Jews there, but doesn't mean that's why.
But I mean, they didn't just wake up one morning. Oh, let's just hate the Jews for no reason. What? Why does this keep happening?
Or did they happen to be Jew, or was it something else that had nothing to do with being Jews? I don't know, but that could be a misleading headline.
Yeah. And as soon as you start questioning it, oh, don't be anti-Semitic. Shut up. Don't think. 1922, the American Birth Control League, forerunner of Planned Parenthood, was incorporated. Okay. 1923, Firestone Tire and Rubber Company started producing inflatable tires.
Hey, Firestone.
Yeah, whenever I see the word Firestone, the only thing I think of is blowouts and people dying on the freeway.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, you don't remember that whole thing? 20 years ago, they even made fun of it in Scary Movie 2.
It was they were blowing out. They were Firestone tires.
They were Firestone tires because they were underinflated, so they kept blowing out. It was an epidemic.
Oh,
A dozen or so people died in car accidents because of this stuff.
Whoa.
Firestone, incredible negligence. 1930, Mahatma Gandhi and thousands of followers reached the sea at Dandi and boiled seawater to make illegal salt, marking the end of his famous 200-mile or 300-kilometer protest march against the widely hated British salt tax. Once again, these Europeans, these Brits, and their taxes, can you imagine, boiling seawater to get salt and under the threat of getting arrested?
Yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. 1933, during the Andorran Revolution, the young Andorrans occupied the Casa de Laval and forced the government to hold democratic elections with universal male suffrage. See right there, male suffrage. Nobody talks about stuff like this. Males were under the thumb quite a bit, as they are today. There's a huge hatred towards males in today's world, but nobody talks about that stuff. It's always one-sided. 1933 as well, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed 2 executive orders, 6101 to establish the Civilian Conservation Corps, and 6102, quote, forbidding the hoarding of gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates, end quote, by U.S. citizens.
Yeah, I remember when it was illegal to own gold.
Yeah,
Now, you could own jewelry, gold jewelry and things like that, but no. You couldn't own gold.
You kind of still can't today. I mean, it's a little lax, but it's still... No, like you can't. You still can't, like, have X amount. Like, you can have a couple coins, but if you have, like, 100 coins...
Oh, no.
Then they'll come in and take them. Yeah.
No, that's not true. That's not true. There's tons of company out there. You hear advertising for them all the time to buy gold. There's no restriction on...
Well, no, you can buy it.
You can own. And a lot of them will hold it for you, put it in their safes, and you don't even have to worry about it.
Is there a restriction on U.S. citizen gold?
Owning gold.
How much gold is a U.S. citizen allowed to own?
There you go.
Right there. Understanding, reporting, implementers, gold sellers, embracing, go away, pop up. It's not telling me.
I don't think there's a restriction.
I'm pretty sure there is. Okay, here we go. How much gold can I legally own in the USA? No legal limits exist. Fuck off, pop-up. No legal limits exist on how much gold an individual own. You can buy, sell, and possess as much gold as you wish, whether in the form of bullion, coins, or jewelry. This freedom to own gold was reinstated in 1975 after a period from 1933 to 74 when private gold ownership was heavily restricted. While no ownership limits exist, certain transactions, for example, selling or buying more than $10,000 worth of gold, may require special tax considerations such as being reported to the IRS. Okay.
That's tax stuff.
Yeah, okay. What else do we got here? 1936, Tupelo, Mississippi was virtually annihilated by a tornado. 216 people died.
What year?
1936, the Tupelo Gainesville tornado outbreak. It was an F5.
Sounds like an epidemic or an outbreak. That's kind of a weird way to put it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do have tornado outbreaks. I mean, the other day...
I guess so. They'll be in clusters, whatever.
Were you there the other day when... that was Wednesday, right? When I talked about 60 tornadoes in one day? I think you were there.
Could be. I don't remember.
Anyway, 1939, membership of Hitler Youth became obligatory. Yikes. 1943, Chinese steward Poon Lim was found off the coast of Brazil by a Brazilian fisherman family after being adrift for 133 days.
Whoa!
After British ship SS Ben Lomond was torpedoed by a German U-boat. Yeah, he was living on this raft that he made.
How did he survive?
Luck and skill and ingenuity.
I guess he caught rainwater. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. With that tarp, that's how. I remember looking into it a while ago. But yeah, no, he was a Chinese working with the British as a translator or something, or something.
Right, whatever he's doing.
And as it said here, the ship got torpedoed. He was the only survivor, I think. So.
Wow.
A crazy story.
Yeah.
1943 as well, Mortsel, Belgium, Allies targeted Minerva car factory used for repairing Luftwaffe planes for a bombing raid. Collateral damage from missed targets kills 936 civilians. Belgium's greatest loss of World War II. And from another source, let me read this here really quick. World War II, United States Army Air Force's bomber aircraft accidentally caused more than 900 civilian deaths, including 209 children, and 1,300 were wounded among the civilian population of the Belgian town of Mortsel. Their target was the Erla factory, 1 kilometer or 0.62 miles from the residential area hit, just a spitting distance away. So they were aiming for the factory, but instead they bombed the neighborhood. It's war, man.
Yeah, no, I know.
It sucks. 1949, 60-year-old St. Anthony's Hospital in Effingham, Illinois, caught fire, killing 77 people, leading to nationwide fire code improvements in the United States. So, what a name, Effingham. It's where do you live? Oh, I live in Fuckingham. Oh, I mean Effingham. Effing. I like.
Only you would go there. Effing.
I like bacon too, but my goodness.
What's the F?
Yeah. 1955, Anthony Eden succeeded Winston Churchill as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It's pretty big.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was after the war, so Churchill has played his part.
Yeah. When that guy was up and down, they hated him, loved him.
Yeah.
Fired him. Just
like a certain orange man today. You know? Well, I have this whole theory. We are living in a reflection of those times. Because back in those times, you had Hitler with Germany doing what they were doing. They had Winston Churchill. They got rid of him and brought in Neville Chamberlain, and Neville Chamberlain kowtowed and let Hitler do what he wanted to do. And it wasn't until the Germans were on the British doorstep right across the channel, where they got rid of Neville and brought Winston. Well, no, not really too late, but brought Winston back. But it was too late if they had to stand on their own. I don't. Yeah. But Operation Sea Lion.
Too late because it got too far is what I mean.
Yeah, too late because it got too far. Now, take all of that. Back in those times, the British, were the big boys on the block, so to speak, and everything. The United States were an up-and-coming powerhouse. Now, move forward with all of that in your mind. Now, today, China is doing what Germany did back then. They're going around, they're salivating, chomping at the bit for everything around them. They're taking over stuff, doing multiple genocides. Look at what they're doing to the Uyghurs. Look at what they're doing to the Tibetans. Same exact thing. Well, we had Orange Man, got rid of him, brought in Biden. Biden's doing, did what he did. And then we got rid of Biden, brought Trump back in. It's a mirror thing. It's spooky.
I'll say one thing, 80-year cycle.
Yeah, the pendulum theory. No. Moving on up here, in 1956, during the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro declared himself at war with Cuban President Fulgencio Batista.
Batista, that's Cuba.
Yep, I just said Cuba.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You're not listening?
Apparently not.
Oh. Hello!
McFly!
Yeah.
McFly!
McFly, hello! Here's some Canadian history here. Ripple Rock, an underwater threat to navigation in the Seymour Narrows in Canada, was destroyed in one of the largest ever non-nuclear controlled explosions.
Wow.
We actually have a picture of that here somewhere up here. So there it is. Right, look at the size of that. See that? For comparison, that's the land with the trees.
Wow.
Like, that is huge. But
so, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wonder if Ripple Rock turned into Black Rock.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I broke your focus there.
Well, I was just going to say, like it was, like they did, there was something like that they did in the San Francisco harbor as well, I believe. There was a rock outcropping or something just under the water, and it was a hazard to shipping, so they blew it up in the same way.
I haven't heard of that, but you may be right, yeah.
1964, first driverless trains run on London Underground. But, yeah. Progress, they say, but all that does is get rid of somebody's job. So, is it really progress? I don't think so. 1965, Lava Lamp Day was celebrated. Is it still Lava Lamp Day? So, I mean, everything's a day nowadays. Like, everything has a day. It's crazy.
If somebody celebrates it, then it is. If nobody's doing it, it's no longer Lava Day.
Speaking of lava lamps, Lava Lamp Internet Security. There's a very interesting video. Tom Scott, of course. And I suggest watching this video after this video, of course. I'm going to post this in the underbar of the description section. Lava Lamp Internet Security. But basically, what this is they utilize the cameras, because every lava lamp has a camera, or like there's a camera looking at a whole row. I don't know exactly the semantics, but they utilize the randomness of the lava to generate passwords for internet security. Like,
you're way over my head.
Okay, well, I'll show it to you later because you can. He explains it a lot better. But yeah, no, like anybody watching this, go check this video out. After this show, of course, it's in the description. After this his live stream. 1967, 76er Wilt Chamberlain set an NBA record of 41 rebounds, and I wonder if that's still the record. So,
well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
If anyone knows, let us know in the comments section. And speaking of comments, do we have any comments?
He did score 101 points once.
Yeah.
One game.
But those aren't rebounds.
No.
Those are points.
Those are points.
Yeah.
That's still a record today.
Oh, okay.
That's my point.
I wonder if his rebound thing, though, is still a record.
Well, that I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to know. Someone tell us.
Yeah. 1971, Fran Phillips was the first woman to reach the North Pole. Cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. 1972, the regular MLB season failed to open due to a player strike for the first time in history. 86 games are lost before the labor dispute settled. Woo! It's quite a bit right there.
Yeah, I remember that.
1976, thousands gathered in Tiananmen Square to commemorate former leader Zhu Enlai and ask for more openness in government. And in response, the CCP made government even more closed and killed people.
They put them down real quick.
Yep.
And really tightened the screws.
Never forget Tank Man.
And most of the young now, they don't know Tiananmen Square at all.
Yeah. Actually, what's really interesting is China shot themselves in their foot. This happened a couple years ago, but in their effort to try to squash it, like they're saying, oh, blah, blah, nobody pay attention to the state, blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like, okay, why are they suddenly saying this? Oh, that's why. So in their effort to squash it, they just made people aware. Yeah. Kind of the same thing as what YouTube did when they started going off about, oh, stop using ad blockers. And the majority of the internet is like, wait a minute, ad blockers are a thing? I'm going to use them.
True. Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. 1981, Philadelphia Flyers amassed a record of 2,621 penalty minutes.
Wow.
That does not sound good.
I don't know what the norm is, but it sounds like a lot of penalty minutes.
Well, I mean, hold on a second. Where's my calculator? 2,621 divided by 60 equals 43.6 hours. Holy crap!
You wonder how many minutes per game. I don't know how many games they have.
Hold on a second. Divide that by 25. Hold on a second. Oops. Oh, well. I just screwed up the math. I was going to try to convert that into days. Anyway, what were you going to say?
You just wonder how many penalty minutes per game that averaged out to. But we don't know how many games they played.
At that time, yeah.
In the season.
Yeah.
I don't know now. I don't know then.
1983, France threw out 47 Soviet diplomats. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. 1983 as well, the People's Armed Police was officially founded, but what country? That's weird. That's all it said. 1984, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar broke Wilt Chamberlain's all-time career scoring record of 31,419 points versus with 31,421. So he got 2 more points.
Well, it kept going.
Yeah, it kept going.
That's for his career.
Yeah.
So now he's what's his name? The Laker. LeBron James has broken Kareem's record all time. What am I saying? Not per game, but his
average.
Lifetime.
Okay.
No, is that his total for his career?
Yeah.
Total points for a career. Now he's the most points.
Well, that's only because of that they've perfected the 3-point thing. I'm pretty sure
it helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Chamberlain did that without the 3-point play.
Speaking of 3-pointers, is there something coming up tomorrow?
Yeah, but we can pimp it at the end of the show.
Okay.
Well, right now as good as any. I'm okay. You're okay. It's going to be its premiere send-off.
Tomorrow.
We'll be talking about tomorrow. Yeah.
At 3 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah. That's his show. He's finally involved. He made his own show.
I don't know.
That's great.
It's going to be a huge air loon.
1986, record for a throw and return boomerang toss is set, 121 meters.
Oh.
Okay.
Did I ever tell you a story as a kid with a boomerang? A friend of mine and I, we each, whatever money we had, 50 cents or whatever it is, we bought these boomerangs.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't throw it. I didn't want, because I figured I was throwing it away. So finally,
But they come back to you.
if you throw them right.
Oh.
So we're over at his house. He threw his, and then and I let mine rip. And then, well, that's the end of that. Doink right in my neck.
God! It's just like you just throw it. Okay, what's going on over here?
I turned to him and said, "Well, that's the end of that. What are we gonna do?" Took a step to walk away, whacked me right in the neck.
If it hit you in the head, it could have locked some sense into you, but
Watch it.
Yeah. 1987, Wayne Gretzky won 7th straight NHL scoring title. Yeah.
It's a great one. I talked about him the other day.
I couldn't give less of a crap about sports or hockey or anything, but I have to recognize and give kudos, and this guy, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
1989, NBC's Late Night with David Letterman became the first network TV show broadcast in Dolby Stereo. All right.
Why is that in there?
Well, I mean, it's a technology.
Yeah, I understand, but
it's Dolby Stereo. Huh. 1990, Paul Newman won a court case victory over Julius Gold to keep giving all profits from Newman Foods to charity. What the hell? Like,
he won a victory over
Julius Gold.
To keep he won. He
That's his money to do with as he pleases. Who the hell is Julius Gold?
Not quite his money, because he founded this company to use his spaghetti sauce, but he only wanted it to go to charity. So as the corporation built and that got Newman sauce was huge, all of a sudden they went, wait a minute. Well, he took him to court and won.
Good.
So it's all going to charity.
Good.
So I assume to this day.
But I mean, where do you get off? Like somebody like Julius Gold is saying, no, we got to be greedy. It's like, who the fuck are you? What is your problem not giving it to charity? You
can justify that by bringing in more money to expand the company to make it even bigger, blah, blah, blah. Percentage-wise, we can end up giving more to charity even though we don't give it all because we made the company bigger,
But
blah,
see,
blah,
as
blah.
soon as
So
you go down that road, you eventually give less because your end goal is just, but you never get it. That's a problem.
C1.
Good. 1991, Detroit Pistons' Joe Dumars ended NBA free throw streak of 62 games. That's impressive.
Joe Dumars,
yeah. 1991 as well, an ASA EMB 120 crashed in Brunswick, not New Brunswick, but Brunswick, Georgia, killing all 23 on board, including Senator John Tower and astronaut Sonny Carter. That kind of sounds like
What kind of plane was it? A military?
ASA EMB 120. Let's look that up here really quick. Well, neither do I, but let's look at okay, it was a prop plane.
It's not a military plane, that's for sure.
No, well, it could be, but, for transport or something, I don't know.
Okay.
But a senator and a astronaut, I don't know, it kind of sounds like, he got shot down.
Who was it again? Which senator?
John Tower.
No, I don't know him.
I don't know either. But as soon as they start saying, a senator or an astronaut or somebody of status, it makes me think, was it a crash or was it a whack? 1992, Serbian troops began besieging Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia, Sarajevo, which would become the longest siege in modern warfare. 1992 as well, peace protesters Suada Dilbirovic and Olga Sukic were killed on the Verbanja Bridge in Sarajevo, becoming the first casualties of the Bosnian War.
That was brutal.
Yeah. While that was going on, several 100,000 abortion rights demonstrators marched in Washington, D.C. That's a lot of people refusing self-accountability, Now, aside from struggle snuggle victims, if you do the mattress mambo and then afterwards you decide not to have a child, well, that's just you refusing to accept accountability for your actions. If you don't want a child, don't do the deed. Not that difficult. Now, victims of struggle snuggle, that's a different story. Completely different story. But other than that little pocket, there should not be any of this. Why
don't you say rape?
Because it'll cancel culture and YouTube will deplatform us. They don't like these harsh words. They want the euphemistic language. So 1995, pages of Codex Argenteus, not to be confused with the Codex Astartes, the Silver Bible, the oldest text in the Gothic language, 5th century, stolen from Uppsala University Library, Sweden, in broad daylight, recovered a month later. So somebody just stole it from a museum. Not breaking in, they're just there, and swipe. It's how does that even work? Crikey! 1997, Steve Irwin's The Crocodile Hunter debuts. It's this is the most dangerous animal on the planet. One bite,
how young he is there in that
one
picture.
bite from it and I'm gone. I'm gonna stick my thumb up its asshole. That's what he did.
We lost that guy in a very freak accident.
Well, he shouldn't be screwing around with wildlife.
Yeah.
It's wildlife. So I don't know. 1998, in Japan, the Akishi Kaiokyo Bridge opened to traffic, becoming the longest bridge span in the world, and I wonder if that's still a thing. See, I'm getting ahead of myself here. 2003, the Kansas City Royals became the first MLB team to begin the season 5-0 after losing 100 games the previous year, beating the Cleveland Indians 2-1. 2005, the Washington Nationals lost their inaugural season opener 8-4 to the Philadelphia Phillies, first team to represent the nation's capital since the Washington Senators left after the 1971 season.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's 34 years right there.
Yeah.
2009, North Korea launched its controversial Kwangimmyong-song-2 rocket. The satellite passed over mainland Japan, which prompted an immediate reaction from the United Nations Security Council, as well as participating states of six-party talks. Yeah, very concerning, North Korea doing what they did. I still believe that that missile warning, from Hawaii several years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that North Korea launched and we intercepted. So, 2016, you're going to say something?
No.
Okay.
I just, it's a possibility.
2016, Iceland's Prime Minister Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson resigned after the Panama Papers leak showed a conflict of interest. Now,
The Panama Papers.
The Panama Papers actually, hold on a second. It tells me to look it up on Thursday. So let me just bring up my archives really quick. Today is April 5th, 4th, 3rd. Let's see here. Articles, Panama Papers. Let's see. Here we go. The Panama Papers were published, on April 3rd in 2016. 11.5 million confidential legal documents from offshore law firm Mossack Fonseca leaked, exposing widespread illegal activities including fraud, kleptocracy, tax evasion, and the violation of international sanctions by the world's elite and the world's largest ever data leak. In total, it revealed information on 214,488 offshore companies. And this is why I say the rich don't pay taxes and they don't do crap towards society, because that's what they do. That's how they become rich and stay rich. So,
and I don't know where this goes or what it even means, but Doge is going to be looking into politicians, obviously that would be senators and House of Representatives, on being very wealthy in an unusual with. How did they do that? Yeah.
Well, how did Elon Musk do it?
Well, you can follow him.
How did Trump do it? They're all the same.
I know.
Oh, they're all the same.
But how did they do it when they're how do you become a multi-millionaire when you made, senator salary all your life?
By
and then you own 3-4 houses and wealth.
By gaming the system and screwing over the taxpayer and having all
illegal,
your money.
But they're going to
oh, definitely they're all illegal.
I'm not. Well, you don't know.
I do. I don't have the evidence, but I know for a fact what they're doing is slimy. Anyway, speaking of slimy, 2016, PayPal announced it was canceling a $3.6 million investment in North Carolina after the state passed anti-gay legislation. I really doubt it had anti-gay legislation. I think it's just liberal propaganda. I don't know. But I'm never going to PayPal ever again because of their EULA thing. They try to fine people up to $5,000 for misinformation.
I remember you saying that once,
yeah. 2016 as well, San Francisco became the first U.S. city to mandate paid parental leave. That's not right. Now you're taking away people's choice.
What does that actually mean, though? Paid parental leave.
That means if
you need to take time off for your kids.
No, that means
whether
that
it's birth or whatever.
Well, no, that means that the company is being forced by law to pay for somebody else's decision, because somebody
else's need. Now you have a legitimate there. I don't like the government telling anybody what they have to do.
Yeah, but once again, it's the individual's decision to have a child. But now, just because they have a child, now other people have to suffer and pay because of that decision. That ain't right. That ain't right.
To be mandated by government, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
You'd like to see that by choice by companies.
Yeah.
Or for me personally, maybe you don't like that at all. But
no, I'm all for choice. If they choose something I don't agree with, that's fine. I still want them to have the choice.
It's like preventative. It's like we offer retirement programs, health insurance, blah, 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 and pregnancy leave off, so they're giving you bonuses. to entice you to come work for them. Okay.
2018, agents with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement raided a slaughterhouse in Tennessee, detaining nearly 100 undocumented Hispanic workers in one of the largest workplace raids in the history of the United States. I'm pretty sure if you go to any place nowadays, you can break this number left, right, and center. So, especially with all this DEI stuff. 2019, OKC guard Russell Westbrook became the first NBA player in history to average a triple-double for the third consecutive season during the Thunder's 123-110 win at home over the Detroit Pistons. All right. 2020, British monarch Queen Elizabeth II made an address to the nation, quote, "We will meet again," end quote, for only the 5th time in her 66-year reign. And I wonder what the significance of this is. Any British people out there, let us know in the comment section.
You're right.
What this means. We will meet again. Okay, cool.
Is that tomorrow for dinner or what?
But the 5th time in her 66-year reign. So why is she doing it so not often? Seldomly. That's the word. So seldomly. 2021, Italy scrapped its 1914 film censorship law that could ban films on moral and religious grounds. I don't know. Okay. 2022, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky urged the UN Secretary Council to act against Russia, accusing Russian military of the worst war crimes since World War II, including execution, struggle, snuggle, and torture of civilians. Well, there's a country in the Middle East that does that, but we don't talk about that. And then some future history here, if that makes any sense. The year 2063. So we have something to look forward to. This is the upcoming anniversary of Earth's first contact with the extraterrestrial Vulcan species in the Star Trek universe. Live long and prosper. Beep boop, beep boop. I'm doing this wrong. That shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you are you. A lot of history happens and continues to go on every single day. We can only bring you a portion. So please check our sources. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. Toodles. Where's the button? There it is.